In this demonstration, we're going to talk about the training status report. This will be a good gauge for you to see who's active, expiring, and incomplete. A few things I do want to point out before we jump into the training status report. Where all this data comes from essentially are the training assignments under the View Training section. So the renewal periods of how often that renews, the expiration period is actually right under the topic here of that expiring period you're giving them. And then lastly, if they're assigned to it, that will determine whether they're active or incomplete in that training status report. So if it is assigned to none and it's not showing whether they're active or incomplete, you may need to pop into your training section under your view trainings to make those assignments out so that it could calculate correctly whether they're active or incomplete based off of it being assigned to them and then that renewal date. So once you have all that set up, you do get that nice training status report to see the status of each user. You can search by the training topics individually, or you can just search all and see it overall training topics as a whole. You can also search by different job titles if you want to filter down that data, that type of thing, and see different areas. Feel free to filter all your data accordingly. The biggest filter that I do like to point out is the status filter. There are some filters you'd probably want to filter out if you want to get that status of who's active, expiring, and incomplete. So those would be the three statuses I would recommend changing to is active, expiring, and incomplete. I will explain what exempt and other means. So an exempt topic means that they are completely exempt from having to take it. There is an option on their profile where you can exempt a training topic. Other means in that similar situation where you have that training topic housed under view trainings, but it's not assigned to any users, that makes it fall under an other category. It's not really assigned to them, so they're not really due or incomplete, so we put it in this other status. So I do recommend filtering those out so that it'll shorten your report so that you can see that data in a better data set. So once you have your statuses filtered, you will go ahead and click search here, and you're actually going to want to click through these tabs to see the data how you see fit. So for example, the training status tab here gives a breakdown of each topic overall of versus incomplete, expiring, and active, and then gives that total percentage of complete based off those assignments to your users. Another thing to also point out is each one of these pages will have columns. If you need to see additional data, feel free to add additional columns and search, and then now you can see how many it's actually assigned to here. So feel free to play around with those columns as well to see a different data set on screen. Additionally, you can export that down into PDF and Excel once you get those columns picked and seeing the data that you want to filter out, and then have it in Excel and or PDF. Another option is if you want to see all data across the board for your trainings, you can click on the search bar here and spit this down into a training matrix. Also, if you do subscribe to ISN, we do have an ISN export as well, but that would only be if you subscribe to that ISN platform. Another view is the employee view, and this does just give a breakdown of each employee, whether they're active or incomplete. It shows the number of deficiencies and the percentage of completion based off of those assignments. Again, you can see additional columns on screen. So ones I always recommend are the deficiency names. That's super helpful to see. You can also pop on the number of expiring down here, the number complete, the number required, those type of items. If you want to see their line of business on screen, their supervisor, those details are in here for you to pull on screen and be able to see that data. So I'll pull a couple here and we'll hit search and show you that now I can see what deficiency names they're in, if there's any expiring, and if those topics were expiring, then the names of those topics. Again, once I have those columns pulled on screen, I can still do that same export here to download into PDF or spreadsheet as well. Then when you get into the deeper view, most honestly do like the employees or the employees per training option here, because these do give the nice breakdowns of what is assigned to your users and where they are sitting within completion. The employees per training gives a very similar view as the employees view, just gives a breakdown of every single topic that has been last completed by the user and any of those incomplete users and topics as well. So you can see here, it does go from first and last name in alphabetical order. Adair, my name pops to the top, Enki is next, so then it goes for every topic that Frank has taken and any of those he hasn't completed yet. Another thing that's really useful, again, on this page is if you want to drop down columns, I like to recommend the expiration date. That's always a good one there. And again, if you need title or field office or supervisor, any of that additional data to pull on screen to filter out, you can do that as well. Once you hit search, again, that expiration date auto-populates here. The last one is just straight completions. As a note, if you're looking at this, since completions can be a lot, the filter automatically does filter to the last 7 days. So you will want to pop to the top here. And if you're looking for a wider range, like the last 30 days or the last 90 days, you can just hit that date range search and widen that search accordingly. And now it spits out those results. One thing that's great about this one is if you're having them sign off in any sort of fashion and or if they have attachments that are particular to a training, you can bring those on screen so that you can see those items here in the columns as well. And if I signed off on some of these, you can see where I was just playing around and testing data and signing off, and it's able to give you a quick report to pull that data as well on a mass fashion. Again, you can always, you can always export that as well in your PDF or spreadsheet as well. If you do have any questions regarding the training status report or anything related to KPA EHS, feel free to reach out to our support team at support@kpaehs.com.